Hi, I'm Gabe.
And I'm Kat.
And we're the Ghouls Next Door. Talk about that spooky stuff. Yeah, exactly.
It's normal.
Yes, exactly normal. So we are continuing our classic horror, writer time.
Yeah. You mentioned a writer today. We're going to talk about Dean Koontz.
Yeah. So we started with King, right? Because that's how you start off a campaign about writing about horror.
Yeah.
And then we had Shirley Jackson.
KJK.
Yes. And now we're back to Koontz, to K here. Yep. Koontz doesn't have as strong a following as people who love King, because he's oftentimes compared to King, but which is incorrect. It should not be happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because they're both old and they exist at the same time.
Yeah.
If they existed at different times, they would exist in the same variety of fandom, I think. In that they're both very talented.
Yes.
They just happen to live at the same time.
Yeah.
If they didn't live at the same time, they'd still be both famous.
Yeah, and they're just completely different. There's just things about them there. It doesn't make any sense. But I will say my favorite thing about Dean Koontz is that he, on the back of every one of his books, is just a picture of him and his dog.
Yes, he loves his dog. He loves his dog so hard.
And it's really cute.
Even on his website, he's like, I love my dogs. I live in a house with my wife, my dogs. And he lists the dogs that are no longer with him.
Aww.
So one of them's name is Trixie. I don't remember what the other dog's name was. But it is Trixie in spirit.
Aww.
And his current doggy's name, I definitely put it. He's super cute about his dogs. Elsa. Ha.
Nice.
Frozen.
Nice. Yeah, another fun fact about Dean Koontz, and this is just honestly just me being selfish and using this platform, is just to say hi to Vicky's dad, my Facebook friend Tim, because he loves Dean Koontz. So my friend Vicky,
this is for him. We dedicate this to you.
We dedicate this episode to you. He's read every single.
Does he listen to
Dean
us?
Koontz? I don't know. I guess this is the time, Tim.
We'll get a nice Facebook message from Tim if he listens to us. If he doesn't, then we'll know.
Yes.
This is a test.
Tell us if we do your favorite some justice. If you want to leave us a comment about why you love Dean Koontz, we will share it with people. But
also, this is a test to see if you listen, Tim.
Yeah.
And Vicky, how are you still alive?
What?
Timmy's died. Oh. He is an adult man named Tim.
Yeah. We
need to bring him on.
He made it to the gauntlet.
We need to ask.
All right, Vicky, you hear this.
Yeah, you listen.
This is dedicated to my Facebook friend Tim, who is a good fan of ours in spirit and has made it past his Timmy age to be a full-grown Tim. He has made it to that evolution.
Yeah, we must know why.
And so we're going to talk about Dean Koontz. So we'll talk about his life. We'll talk about his style. We'll talk about some films that are, honestly pretty on par with what Dean Koontz is. So I feel like it's pretty good.
Yeah. I like Dean Koontz. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Just gonna call him Dean from now on.
Okay.
As we do.
My uncle's name is Dean. So that's what I think
of every single time. So you're related to Deans.
Not this one. Just the one Dean. And he doesn't write write horror movie books.
I'm in a weird mood, guys. Hello.
Same. All right. Stay tuned.
Yeah, facts. We tell you facts. All the facts. Yeah, facts. Still facts. About that spooky stuff. Yeah, spooky stuff.
You're live.
All right. Let me tell you, we've been live this whole time. I've been alive here for 26 years.
What?
World.
But How long has Dean Koontz been alive?
Don't ask me questions I don't know. I have stuff about his life that I found interesting.
How many Dean Koontz are there?
There's no such number. There's just one.
Okay.
So Dean Koontz writes I imagine my grandpa would write if he chose to be a writer. So
this is so you.
Yeah, my grandpa wrote in journals for no one else to read. And he wrote little stories that are super cute. But he just wrote, even just to script Dean Koontz now. Dean.
Yes.
Dean wrote really just like cute. Like I was just like, oh, you're good at this. Like, you know you're good at this. Like shut
Aw.
up, Dean. But yeah, it was cute. Like I loved reading his like little descriptions of like why he wrote things the way that he did. And like on his website, like his website is very elaborate. He has an
Yes.
entire section that is just him answering questions people
Yeah.
have submitted
Really
to him.
detailed.
Yeah, really detailed answers to these questions.
Yeah.
I'm like, you took time,
Yeah.
man. That's adorable. I just find Dean Koontz adorable now. I had no idea this whole time in my whole life. I kept seeing like the name and I've seen his books.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen them.
We have one right here in front
And my
of us.
grandpa definitely owned a lot of his books. I remember seeing the titles. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But I didn't know he was so adorable. He's an adorable old man.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's that old, but he's just like this adorable. Like, I imagine him as an old person, and he is
Yeah.
an adorable old man, like my grandpa once was. So, yeah. I love Dean. Dean's great. So,
Yeah, we definitely found that we really, when you look at someone's like life and then you really dive into their history, it's like, oh, you're a person. I like you.
yeah, cool. I forgot you were human because you're famous times. And it's like, nah, you're totally human. Everyone's human. We're all human. We all
Yeah.
poop the same. There's books
Wow,
about it,
okay.
I guess. I don't know.
Didn't know we
Isn't
were
that
going to
what
go
like
there.
grandmas say where it's like your pee smells the same as everyone else's?
That's not true. Pee smells different.
I know. I
and you
wanted
need
to say
pay
the other
attention
thing,
to
but
that.
we can't curse.
Okay, I got you.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but one is very different because one could be a sign that you're not eating well, and the other, and it could also be a sign
I'm
you had
just saying, you're
asparagus.
picking up where I'm putting down.
Now I am.
It's
It took me
fine.
a minute to get there.
But yeah, so another wonderful thing about Dean.
Okay.
Him and his wife's story is super beautiful. In the
Mhm.
like, she's been ride or die from the beginning. Like they got together when they were young. Like I think like fresh out of high school, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to college at Shippensburg University, and you know, came out and like started teaching. It was just really having a hard time because, as everyone knows, the public school system's like difficult.
Yeah.
It's just a hard time. Like it's hard to like feel you're having a rewarding situation, and he like struggled with that. Like in that, like one, behaviors are challenging of
Yeah.
kids. Like kids are difficult, and he chose to teach high school. Like 90% chance that that's an accurate fact if I remember correctly. And then like that's a difficult thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife basically told him at the age of 21. He was 21, not her. I don't know how old she was. Was like, I'll support you for 5 years financially. If you don't make it in that time, like she knew how much he loved writing. It was like, if you don't make it in that time, then you know you can't do it. We're not going to do it. And 5 years is a lot of
That's
time.
a long time.
Like I don't know if she did research before, but it's like that is a while that
And
you
also
have to
sometimes people
financially
take
support.
a long time to make it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if
So
we're
like
talking
if he
like
was
Ghouls,
21,
like if I'm like, hey Gabe, I'll support you for 5 years, and if the Ghouls don't make it in that time, we stop doing it. We're already in 2, so
yeah.
so like we're
Yeah,
doing
but
pretty
It
good.
would
We're
start from now.
I know we're
because
picking. No,
This has been supporting me for this whole
No. And, okay, so 3 years.
time. Okay.
Call it even.
All right.
But like I'm also invested. So Isaiah
Yes.
and Michael
yes.
start
Support
funding
us.
our dreams, man. But yeah, so she was like ride or die. She was like, I'm gonna support your life. If you can make it, dope.
Yeah.
Like
Dope,
let's
yes.
do this. I'm in this. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna be together. I'm gonna support you.
Yes.
And so she did that, and by like she did not need the whole 5 years.
Mhm.
She got to quit her job because he's doing real well, doing all famousy and selling books and like
Yeah.
doing it.
Having dogs, being cute.
And they're still together
Yeah.
with their puppies. And we don't have any babies. They've got puppies. and
This
it's
seems like a
great.
trend for male writers, and when I say trend, I mean just this is the second
We've
one that
seen
we've
2.
covered. Yeah, but
Yes.
versus Shirley Jackson, who did not have that fortune.
Well, there are these. This is dispelling some of the myth of like the artist who can't commit, the
Yeah.
dangerous artist, you know,
Yeah.
who is living off of ramen, and
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yes.
doesn't like is loose with whoever they decide to be with because
Yeah.
their life is unstable. No
Yeah.
one can tie me down. Creative.
Yes. I don't know. I'm also creative, and so like my boyfriend's a writer, and I'm not like, hey, let me support you for 5 years. I can't. I'm sorry.
Well, it's
Mike.
just because we work in nonprofits.
Yeah.
Like, everyone get realistic
Yeah.
expectations. I don't know what his wife does.
Yeah.
But
that's
maybe she
true.
had, like,
Maybe
a
she was,
real
like, an
good
accountant or
job.
something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
But yeah, so she's like supporting it. It's adorable. They have dogs. There was Trixie once, and everyone was like really invested in his dogs because he puts them in all of his books.
Yes.
And he like writes about dogs within his stories. So it's just like really adorable.
Yeah, the Watchers.
Mm-hmm. So a little bit more about Dean is that like it makes sense that horror, when you're writing about it, suspense and horror and like stressful things,
Yep.
that you've experienced those things in your life. And I'm not going to get into a lot of details because it's like really like I don't want to like put them all out there. Like, but
Yeah.
he's lived. Dean has lived.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of it happened when he was a kid, specifically involving his father who struggled with alcoholism, and just like anger, it seemed, or like some variety potentially of mental illness. But I don't know all the details, obviously, because I'm not Dean.
Yeah.
Guys, did you know?
What?
So yeah, like his father struggled with alcoholism and like being really disruptive in the home, and the mom really tried to hide it from him. But you know, kids are very perceptive and they see way more than you think they see.
Yeah.
World. And honestly, for trauma, the more trauma that happens early on, the more damage it does. They always think like, oh, they don't remember. That doesn't mean subconsciously they don't got problems.
Yes.
But yeah, brain is plastic. We all heal. And yeah, so he experienced a lot, you know, and his dad and him still to this day do not get along,
Yeah.
because of that stress. Like, and you know, he honestly, I would say horrific things happen in your life transfer well into writing.
Yeah.
And that like there has to be themes subconsciously of like that coming up in some capacity, or like just the fact that like he's writing about horrific or suspenseful, like psychologically suspenseful situations. Like
Yeah.
suspense is his big genre. And he's amazing at it. That like living with an alcoholic parent, your whole life is suspense. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what you're going to come home to.
Mm-hmm.
You're always wondering and ready. Like it's, so I see a little bit
Yes.
how that transfers into his
Yeah.
books.
Seems to be a trend that they're I think it's kind of motivational. Like, take your trauma, put it into a cool horror story. People are going to buy it. You become wealthy. You're not traumatized anymore. Well, you're recovered from trauma.
I'm not saying that M. Night Shyamalan's Split?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know what you need
The
to give me
movie
more.
with the personality guy.
Yes.
Is it called Split?
Yes.
Okay. So I always get the title wrong. So I
Okay.
just wanted to make sure. I'm not saying that you should kidnap people
No.
who haven't been traumatized because they are weak. But
That did happen in that.
that did
movie.
happen in that movie. And the girl with the most problems, aka trauma,
Yeah.
is the one who survived because she was stronger and more resilient.
Okay.
All I'm saying
Or
is,
just maybe write some books.
yeah, I'm just saying though, it's like it makes you do cool stuff.
Yes.
I've experienced
Trauma
with
is a
trauma. I'm
superpower.
funny as anything.
Yeah.
I'm doing cool horror stuff.
Yeah.
I write and draw stuff. What's up, world?
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
broken but good.
Is this why we like horror so much?
I'm enough.
Oh my gosh.
What's this that Stitch says?
Stitch not bad, Stitch fluffy.
No, that's also fun. But it was like the family is like broken.
Yeah, my
but
family
still
is
good.
broken but still good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
that. But for writers,
Yes.
Dean.
Yeah.
Okay, Gabe, your turn.
You got anything else about Dean?
That was my whole spiel.
All right. You didn't want to tell about this magic puppy?
Oh, you right. You read my words. Okay, so there's this adorable anecdote that I want everyone in the world to know about.
Yes.
So like Stephen,
Mm-hmm.
when he was writing books and like little stories when he was a kid,
Yeah.
he had his first sale. It was from a family member.
Aw.
So he wrote his first story called The Magic Puppy.
Aw.
And I'll read kind of like somewhat like about like but he was 8 years old and it was 11 pages long,
Oh my gosh.
just like on regular notebook paper.
Yeah.
And he duct taped it or whatever. He like maybe stapled it together to make a seam and like put the electrical tape on the
For binding.
seam. So this is coming from his website. This is a story that he said that he happened for real. So
Okay.
I've decided it's true.
Yes.
So the story was about a puppy from another planet,
Oh.
and basically because he was obsessed with time travel.
Yeah.
And he drew like the illustration and like decorated it, and then sold it to his Uncle Ray for 2 nickels.
2 nickels. Oh my gosh.
And he calls his maiden genre science fiction because it was about a alien puppy who was just like doing stuff.
As it is. As it should be.
Yeah.
Aw, thanks, Uncle Ray, for creating Dean Koontz. Like, contributing to who he is.
Yeah. So the puppy was obsessed with time travel. I fixed it.
Okay. The puppy was obsessed with time travel?
So the exact quote, I was just trying not to exactly quote the website, but
Yes.
I'm just going to do it because I gave credit
Yes.
to his website. The puppy was from another planet, a twist Tolstoy would never have considered, in part because he was psychologically obsessed with time travel tales. No, that's about Tolstoy.
Okay.
So the puppy wasn't obsessed with time travel, but the puppy was adorable because he loves dogs.
Yes.
He loves golden retrievers.
He
I don't know if
does.
the puppy was a golden retriever, but he loves them. And it was from another planet, so it's about an adorable little alien baby.
Yeah.
And they're friends.
That's awesome.
And he got 2 nickels for his first story. So not doing as well as
That's
Steven,
more than
who
I've
got
ever
a whole
gotten.
$1.
Again.
But 2 nickels, man.
2 different times of life. 2 different types of people. Yeah. I have been a fan of Dean Koontz for a long time. Before I knew that I was a fan of King. Because remember, I just found that out recently.
You're like,
that I'm a fan of
"Whoa,
King. I had
Stephen
read a
King
lot
is
of
there?
King.
This doesn't suck. What?
I mean, I
Weird.
read a lot and then was just like, I'm doing this because I need to, not because I love it. And then I was like, oh, I do actually like this.
Yeah.
But Koontz, I did really love. Like,
He has
I read him when I
beautiful
was
style.
yes, I read him when I was really young. I remember I read Phantoms when I was in middle school.
Which is, you said was gigantic, so I don't understand.
No, I think it was. I looked it up. It was only 350.
bunch of pages.
It was a decent book, but I read it when I was in middle school, which it's not a middle school book. It's really scary.
It's 300 pages and scary.
Yes, I remember at the time my first job was working at a flea market.
Okay.
Selling boiled peanuts with this like old man.
Is that why you love boiled peanuts so much?
Yeah, I'm also from the South, so it's a part of that too.
Okay.
But yeah, and I remember telling him and him being like, "What? You're reading that? Like, are you kidding?" Like this old man was like, "Why?" And I was just like, it was so scary. So I read Phantoms, and it was terrifying. Like it kept me up at night, and I was like, I have to finish this.
Yeah.
So Dean is like a pro at suspense. Like it makes for a really quick reading because you like can't put it down. Like you're like, I have to know what's happening next.
See, I would have read that then because
Yes.
I could only when I was a kid I could only read books that were very suspenseful or like
Yes.
science fiction / like anything because
Yeah.
I was like, this is messed up. I must know more. But like otherwise, could not keep my focus.
Well, lucky for you, Phantoms is here in our podcast layer, so you can read it.
I can read it if I want.
Yes. It's so great, and he doesn't write in a way that's like super challenging either. Like he's not a pompous writer. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna put enough fluff in here to make it interesting, and that's it. Like I don't need to overdo it.
Yeah.
Which is awesome and makes it very easy and digestible, right?
Yeah.
But he's really, really good at suspense, like weaving these stories where you really want to know what happens and you're very invested in the characters. Like these are people that you would believe exist and they're generally good people. Like even when there's like a villain who like is questionable, you still kind of like want to see if they're okay. You want to see like what happened to them. And you just finish these like so quickly. And so I think there's a lot of things that are different between him and King that I feel like it's really unfair to compare them, right? Specifically though, like he's really good at these suspenseful things where you're rushing through them. But kind of like what I was thinking of, like in It Chapter 2, when they have that running joke that he can't write an ending. Well, that's like a little bit of Dean Koontz. Because I think it was actually like King and Koontz have like jokes with each other too.
Yeah,
and
are
like
they friends?
I think they're acquaintances.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's been times where like Koontz has appeared in a King film.
Yeah.
Like, and it's been a joke. Like they wrote characters about each other. Like it's just, they understand like the world and how they're like kind of lumped in together. But it's funny because like Koontz will write these really amazing and just like propelling like narratives. And then you get to the end and it's absolutely ridiculous. And you're just like, wait, what? So like
I rode the whole train.
For this end, like this is absolutely just
For what?
out of left field. So like, for example, in Phantoms, right? So we're taken on a 300+ page ride in sheer terror at this befuddling mystery, right? So it's literally where this entire town has just vanished. And we follow like 2 sisters and some cops or whatever who are trying to figure out what happened. And what you find is that the reason for this disappearance and numerous other like historical mysterious disappearances of like entire populations, such as Roanoke, which is like a very popular mysterious time, right? That the reason for that is an ancient blob. Yes. An ancient blob.
I watched it.
Yes. But when you're reading it, it was so crazy to get to that point because it was just like there's like singing coming from the sink. It's very reminiscent of it in that way where there was like a lot of like sewer things happening.
Yeah.
And then there's like bloated bodies and it would change form and it would get you and it would do all this stuff and all of this other things. And then you get to the end and it was like this like archaic blob monster that was doing it. And it was like, really?
You just ruined the book.
Listen, it's been out for a very long time.
That's probably what those comments say. I can't see them, but...
You can look on Facebook.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah.
Oh.
But...
I'm going to do it.
So another one is Strangers, which actually is one of my favorite Dean Koontz. And it really affected me when I was younger. One, because so it's a bunch of strangers who like all like they're totally they have no connection to one another. They're living their lives and they end up like experiencing random phobias that they never had and like really intense. Like they're just absolutely terrified of things like for no reason. And it's like out of the blue. So they're like, what is this? And so it really spoke to me because I had trypophobia and didn't know what trypophobia was. So it was like, oh my gosh, am I like these people who like, I'm afraid of the sidewalk because the crack is really weird. And so, oh my gosh, is whatever the ending of this book going to be what happened to me? Like I was reading it for answers. And then it turned out, spoilers for anyone who is going to read this old book, it was aliens. Yeah. Aliens caused this.
Of course they did. What do you mean?
Yes. But in like a good way. So something I was thinking about when I was thinking about the comparisons of Koontz and King, right? Is that King has always said that he writes his nightmares, right? Like he writes things that scare him and he writes really like traumatizing, affecting things that like really stick with you because they're brutal. Like he doesn't pull any punches and he tells some really graphic awful things, right? Well, Koontz doesn't do that. Like Koontz talks about the supernatural and he'll talk about things that are scary, but he does it in a way that's fun. Like it's almost like the Sci-Fi Channel version of horror. You know, like where it's fun and goofy and there's this weird masked monster that's coming after you, but like it's really more about the people and their like experiences and their adventures. It's because it's just like, I think whereas like, you know, King kind of believes that people have some like evil, like some people have some evil in you and that eventually you're going to succumb to the madness. And I think Koontz just believes in people. Like he believes that we're going to be okay.
So optimistic.
Right? Isn't it sweet? He's just like
See, I told you he's adorable. He's adorable grandpa man.
Yes. One example that I have of kind of really showing the difference between these two is that they've both covered themes in which like someone has had their world like completely ripped from under them and their truth is just shook. Like their whole life is just shook now. So I talked before at the beginning of this series about Stanley and Stephen King's It and how when the truth was ripped up from under him and his world was rocked, it led to his suicide. Right. Yeah. Like, cause he could not fathom this world coexisting with the world that he's in. Right. a similar case, right? With Koontz, in Strangers, we have these people who, because of the aliens, what had happened was they had seen these aliens and it totally rocked their world. And that's why they have these like phobias, because it was like subconsciously reminding them of the experience. But
So
when
you thought you had seen aliens?
Yes, I thought I saw aliens, and I thought it was finally time for me to go home. But instead,
because you've been on a whole time.
Instead, what happened is that they go back. All these different strangers meet back up, and they go back to where the aliens are, and they rediscover them. And it isn't scary. Mm-hmm. It was like euphoric. It was like, oh my gosh, we have discovered this thing. Like, oh my gosh, we got the chance to like experience this entire world-shaking life.
Everything in my life has led up to this moment.
Yeah, and it's just like this beautiful, like more uplifting and transformative, whereas like King was like sharp and destructive, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like how you have to look at the two, right? Like one is just a paranormal, like fun romp, and the other one's just like there's rape and murder and children orgies. Which is like,
I can see why they're different. I see. I'm picking up the things you're saying and putting them down.
Yes. So that's kind of like what I was seeing as being the big difference. But I definitely suggest Koontz as an easy read, and it's just really fun, right? Like you don't have to think too deep into it. You can have a good time, and you can get a lot out of it. Like these stories have stuck with me, and I read them when I was in middle school, and I still remember them. Like, and that's saying a lot because I generally just forget like immediately after I've read a book.
The effect of horror, I think, is mainly the goal.
Yeah. So I'd say everyone stop comparing the two because it's not real. And that if you want a really good, just like a nice dad time, like a dad story, which is why
number one,
the best dad awesome, whatever.
Coolest number one dad, the best
which makes sense why Vicky's dad, Tim, loves it. This is dad horror.
Number one, the best dad awesome.
Yes. Today, Tim, you're coolest number one dad, the best awesome, as is Dean Koontz. Does Dean Koontz have children?
No, he has puppies.
He's a dog dad.
Dad.
He's a dog dad.
He's a pupper dad.
He's a pupper dad. Yeah.
We watched some films. Now let's talk about those films. And all that spooky stuff. And all that spooky stuff.
We're on films. I'd say Roland, this is for Roland, because he was like, I never really knew what you guys are saying, and that it meant like you were in the facts section or film section. It's like I thought you guys were just saying stuff. And then I just listened and it was like, oh, facts, of course, films, oh my gosh, feelings. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I was like, we work so hard on these interstitials.
Well, because our old interludes were us just
goofing. I did tell him about our like spooky. Or just the sounds of us watching things. So that's for you, Roland. This is just an episode where we talk to our fans. So I hope it's not super annoying for everyone else.
Meet our
Say
friends.
things to us, and then we'll say stuff about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I talk about, remember that one time from the Netherlands?
Yeah.
What was her name? It wasn't Joyce. Was it Joyce?
I think it was Joyce.
We're going to look it up.
And then also we've shouted out for Great Britain and Portugal.
I'm loving it.
Tell
me your
Fan
names
Friday.
and I will be friends with you.
We'll tell our moms. It'll be great.
Yeah.
But
also we watched some films.
We watched some stuff about Dean. So we watched Phantoms.
We did. I was there. Don't you say the things. Don't you say it. Don't you embarrass me on public.
No, you don't embarrass your own self by saying those things. So we watched Phantoms because it was the book I read. And so I was like, oh, I can, apply my book knowledge to this film. And then I had seen the film at some point, but it was not memorable. And there's reason for that because it's not good.
Yeah.
Here's what it's about. So Phantoms is from 1998 and it's directed by Joe Chappelle. 150 dead and 350 missing in this tiny mountain town of Snowfield, Colorado. And that's only the beginning.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's about a town that people disappeared. Some people are dead and bloated. There's sisters who are investigating. It has young, I think Rose McGowan, I think is her name.
And then
one of the
baby
Charm
Ben
sisters.
Affleck.
And baby Ben Affleck, who is apparently one of Kat's favorites.
No, he's not my favorite anymore. He
Do you
was
guys wanna
favorite
hear-
to me when I was in middle school.
And do you want to know why? Do you guys want to
No,
hear
I
the
never-
film that Kat said when I was like, Ben Affleck, you like Ben Affleck? Why? And she said, yeah, I love him in Daredevil.
I loved him in Daredevil
No one
when I
has
was in
ever
middle
said that
school.
in
When
their
I
lives.
was in middle school and I didn't know what acting was.
Very clearly. Or a good writing.
I don't care. I liked the movie. I liked that his blindness gave him strength.
It's fine. It was the start of Bennifer, so it's
Exactly.
important.
That ended in gambling and divorce. It's fine.
Classic tale of love.
Yep.
That's not what this is. This is not a
We're
classic
talking
tale
about
of love.
Phantoms.
Yes.
Gabe.
So
Trying to embarrass me.
as I said a bunch
internet.
of times when we were watching this film, the book is far better than this movie. This movie is
Yeah.
trash.
I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed watching it.
It was super boring. The thing is, like, you can't really like his suspense.
I can't judge. Oh my
is-
god, do I have bad taste in films?
I could have told you that when you said that you liked.
Well, you know what? We're the whole thing we do. I have good opinions sometimes.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. I'm biased, right? Because I'm gonna be one of those people that's like the book is better than movie. Generally, my
I ain't seen the books.
you haven't seen the books. You're right. I usually my point of view is to like approach a movie. Even if it's like there was a book of it and I've read the book and I'm just like, oh, this is a movie that is just similar to the book I read, but it's totally
Yes.
different. It's a different entity.
time.
Even when you do that, it's still bad. And I feel like you really miss out on the joy of Phantoms.
But the moth guys.
Yes, that
do
was
the
a good
lick
part.
licks and eat the brains.
He did lick and eat the brain. That's
He
true.
went all through his eyes with his tongue. He went lick, and then the brains were gone.
Yes. So there's the thing
So
about
that was fun.
this blob
That's a fun
monster in
time.
Phantom is that it does take weird forms. It mimics people. And at one point it's like a weird moth bird creature that like eats a guy's face.
Eats his brain.
He ate his brain. And it was
Clean out of his eyes.
Liev Schreiber, I believe.
Yeah.
Who was like a creep in this.
Yeah.
I feel like he's always kind of a creep.
In the film season.
Just like in any kind of film.
Yeah.
Like Liev's always like a creep. So he was in this, but like more so than usual.
Yeah.
And it's like the thing is like you really miss like the suspense that comes from it because
Because they had to rush it. Yeah.
yeah. And like when you're reading it, it's like so much scary to have to like turn the page when you're like hearing children's voices singing from like the sink.
Yeah.
Or like when the bodies go missing, or when you have those really uncomfortable experiences with Liev Schreiber's character towards the young girl. And then like you get more like relationship building because they're in it longer. Like
you
it
care
feels
more
longer.
about what's happening because you have more of the setup.
And you get more of the background because like the whole time that like they're investigating, at some point it like that splits, and then we're also investigating like the history of stuff. And so we're kind of like there's this kooky doctor guy who has been investigating essentially the blob and what he thought was the ancient enemy that has caused all these disappearances in the history of life.
Which it has.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Which he was right. But it's like so much more interesting when they're like tracking him down and they're like doing the research and you get to dive into like the history. Whereas in this film, it was very rushed. I don't recommend it because it doesn't hold up. And if you like, you have to be a real diehard fan of Koontz to like this one.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we watched another thing.
We did. We watched Demon Seed from 2018.
Nope.
It's the wrong date. Demon Seed that was made.
Yes.
Director Donald
Mhm.
Mel.
Yes.
I said it. I can't say any names ever. So a scientist creates Proteus, an organic supercomputer with artificial intelligence, which becomes obsessed with human beings and in particular the creator's wife. This movie inspired so much.
Yeah.
There's a Simpsons episode based on it. It's definitely the inspiration for Smart House that was on Disney Channel. It was like, it's a culture piece. Like everyone has like not realized that they've seen this film or read this book
in
essentially
in
some way. Like, because it's influenced so many other things. It is like ripple affected out. Because I vividly remember Smart Home. I didn't realize that wasn't like, I should have known. Because it was like a kid's movie.
Yeah.
Kids movies, they're always working that hard
I do
on
think
those.
that Smart House might be also like influenced by this, but also probably a lot of Ray Bradbury.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But what I'm saying is.
Because of the Rains one about the house that keeps going after everyone's dead. But this one is more dedicated to like a smart house. So it's essentially this computer that becomes smart, and then it wants to. It's actually kind of like it's refreshing because it's because they want to use it for bad. They want to start mining in the ocean, and the robot's like, no, because now you're going to cause pollution and you're going to destroy the earth.
And he's like, I just want to feel.
Yeah, I want to be a person. Yeah, I want to know what, because that's the one thing it can't like study really. Yeah. So it wants to do that. And then there's like the guy who created him who's like cold towards his wife, and she finally gets a divorce. And she's a very feelings heavy person. She's a psychologist. And she's like all about emotions and talking through things. So of course the robot's like, yeah, I want that. Yeah. And so he traps her in the house like any love story is, and then forces her to have his baby. Because romance.
Yeah, that's what that was. Yeah.
It was scary.
It was really scary. And honestly, like, so, see, I vividly remember the Simpsons episode that was based on it. And the same thing happens where the house falls in love with Marge, like Homer's wife, and tries to, like, kill everyone else in the house to have her. Yeah. And it's just like similar in that way. It was one of the Halloween episodes that they did.
Treehouse of Horror.
Treehouse of Horror. Yeah.
You should watch
so
it.
when I was watching this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is about that.
Yeah.
This is from the thing. I watched that. It was like my favorite Simpsons episode, other than the one where Bart has an evil twin that lives in the attic. Like that was like one of my favorite ones. I vividly remember it.
Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah, and I just had no idea.
Seen one.
What?
Yeah, I didn't really watch a lot of Simpsons, so I don't think I've ever seen a.
Did you have cable? How did you?
I don't know if I did actually. I didn't really have a lot of TV.
But, okay, that makes sense. But I'm just saying,
but I have seen
based
Smart
off
House.
Of that. Yeah,
and I, you know, when you ever have you ever?
So you had cable because that's Disney.
Then yeah, I guess whenever you like watch or listen to a song and then you remember an emotion or a situation.
Yes.
So when I watched Smart House, I vividly remember the time that I got incredibly ill because I drank like an entire giant peach flavored Sonic shake and then ate a whole pack of pepperonis. And then I was incredibly ill because it's not a food, Gabe. That's not a meal. So now whenever I see or hear about Smart House, I immediately remember being really sick and just eat. I can't. Till like 2 days ago, I had never eaten a peach. And I accidentally ate a peach the other day and was like, oh my God, these taste good. Because I like couldn't. So just there's a lot of triggering things about this movie. So it's the Smart House reminded me of being sick. And also incredible trypophobia warning.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because it's like, I was watching, I was like, what in the Cronenberg world is happening right now? It's flesh technology. It's 100% Cronenberg. I don't know what came first, chicken or the egg in this situation, but either one of them has to be influenced by someone or has to have been like, yeah. Like I want someone to be like, good job on making flesh and technology all together. And it's so gross. And it's just like, so this robot house wants to make a human baby that's also as smart as a computer.
Yeah.
So
I think the idea, so spoilers at the end.
Old.
Yeah. So at the end, the robot baby says like, I'm alive, like he's Proteus or like she's Proteus.
Yes. Yeah. And it's the Proteus replicated, they had the protagonist woman and the husband who created the AI had a daughter who had died from like cancer or something. Yeah. And so like they had experience loss. So he just replicated this kid. So it looks just like her. Yeah. But it's not. And there's like, also it was like a question because they didn't wait the 5 days. So what's wrong with this baby? It has to be something. But yeah, so he traps her in the house and she did really well with like fighting back.
Yeah, no, she was really smart about it. And
she like went on strike. She like was straight up just gonna die. She was like, I will just die. I will kill myself. And it took like him threatening other lives for her to be like, fine. Like she literally was like, no, you ain't getting this baby. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what kind of crazy world is going to happen after this. So I'm just going to straight up die. And he was like,
who's just volunteering to just have a kid? That's a painful process.
Yeah.
You're not it was fast. I'm going to weigh my, it's like, it's going to be real quick. Real
Yeah.
quick, not hurt. Giving birth still hurts. That is a giant child.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Robot parts.
Yeah.
Is metal coming out of you? No.
Well, I don't even know.
Absolutely
It was
not.
it was really interesting to see how like because she was like, how does this even happen? And it's not really described or explained. It's just like it will, okay? It's gonna happen. And like people die, people try to save, and then she like eventually is like lethargic to it. She's like, all right, I'm gonna have this baby. She fell in love with the baby because it was inside of her. Because that's her
didn't
kid.
like it afterwards.
Yeah, but when it was in there, she was all lethargic because then the husband came and was like, what's happened to you? And she's like, oh no, it's fine. We're gonna have a baby.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? And I want to say it took like months before he was like, oh wait, my wife is trapped in the house. It took someone being like, didn't you automate your house? That
Didn't
was
you have
crazy,
a wife
wasn't it?
once?
No, they didn't even mention his wife. They were like, didn't you have a house that had a robot in it? And he was like, that's where the robot is. And then he went over there. And it was like 3 months later, after she had her expedited pregnancy and gave birth, it's like too little, too late, sir. Yeah. And then they like, they brought it out. It was a ride. I was not expecting that as far as like my experience with Dean Koontz books. I don't think I'd read it because I've seen too much and I don't want to be reminded of what I saw.
Yeah, that's fair. And I feel like it would almost be worse to hear it described.
Yeah.
Like written wise.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to know 1, how that baby is made.
No.
2, what the birth was like. 3, what it looked like. 4, the whole thing. I wouldn't want to read. Like, it wasn't a bad boot. I was genuinely scared. There was like
scary.
8 times where my mouth was just hanging open in shock.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was like, what?
Yeah.
The entire time. But it was like a fun time. It was scary.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised it was as scary as it was. And then, like, the robot was like how it was and the effects were how they were for the time period.
Yeah.
Because it was like an older film.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised. I was like, wow, they did a good job.
Yeah, because I think it was very like Cronenberg-y. It would have been cool for Cronenberg to even make it. I feel like it would have been even worse. But it was like, yeah, there was some
Like
really
worse in
interesting.
good way.
Yes, yeah, worse in like in a way that's triggering to me, but is good for other people, which is usual, right? I think it was kind of interesting to see this and really understand like the broad way, like the broad topics that he covers.
Uh-huh.
Because like I've read one where there's like a guy who's running and he's like maybe a serial killer, but he's not a serial killer. I'm pretty sure that was a Koontz book that I read like on a train really quick.
Cool.
In like 9 hours. I was like done.
Dope.
But like yeah, from that to like strangers where it's aliens to like ones where it's like a dog that is possibly an alien.
Puppy.
He has a puppy that's an alien. There's a lot. So I haven't read this one, and I don't think I will, but I think it was a really good film.
Yeah, it was good. I was proud of it. I'm proud of you, Dean.
Oh, Dean.
You did good.
Feelings. Yeah, feelings. Yeah, I said feelings. Let's talk about feelings. Okay. And all that spooky stuff. I love spooky stuff.
So if you like it, it's dad horror.
Because it's number 1, the best awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Tim. And if you don't like it, it's Robot Baby, because that was gross.
Yeah.
And like,
I want robots to live. I would totally be a part of the railroad in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And then also like a synth.
and like
Sympathizer
and
/ Battlestar
Detroit.
Galactica. I'd be like, for it. Detroit become human. I let the robots live.
Yeah.
But Robot Baby is bad in this instance.
Yeah.
'Cause
Also,
it was
like
just gross.
it wasn't consensual.
It was not. It
Also,
was not. Yeah,
So
that
it's a
part was
little
also
different.
bad.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like in Mass Effect, my character always goes to Garrus because I love him and he's an alien. It's different species. And he's even like, how is this gonna work? And I'm like,
No.
oh, it's gonna work.
Battlestar Galactica.
Exactly.
The
works.
humans with the Cylons, they're there. They fall in love. They have babies. It's great.
Exactly. Spoilers.
It's a super old show.
Exactly. Just like these books that I spoiled for you. Kat, how do you feel about Dean Koontz?
Number 1, the best awesome dad.
He is coolest number 1
He's-
dad, the best awesome.
He's the best pupper dad ever to be.
He's our dad. He can be our dad.
Do we put him in the frame that says coolest #1, the best
Let's
awesome?
get a picture of him and
His puppy.
someone, listener, if you have Photoshop skills, I want you to Photoshop a picture of Dean Koontz with his dog, but then we're also there and we're his kids. And that's
Yes.
just, and then send it to us because I
Go
really
on my
want
Facebook.
that.
There are so many child photos of me.
Yeah, just ask us. We'll
I have
send
an
you
album titled Little Me that I think is from 2009. Search for it.
Yes.
Photoshop the child version of me.
Yeah.
And with Dean and like dad and dog family.
Yeah, and Gabe is
And
there
Gabe
too.
is my sister.
Yes, and it's gonna be the cutest thing. He has the best dad hair. It's just a bowl cut that he's had since like 70. It's great.
I'm sorry you maybe didn't want kids now, but you have
Too
them.
bad. You got 2 kids right here.
Dean.
We love you, Dad.
Dad.
Dad. Yeah. Even if you were a robot, we'd want you. I guess our moms would have a problem. Oh well. What about for Phantoms?
I didn't read the book, so I don't know.
Yeah.
The movie
What-
was okay. You told me I'm not allowed to like it.
You can like
You
it.
told me I can't.
I didn't tell
You
you
told me
that.
I'm bad at movies.
No, we inferred that with our study.
Middle
Which
school
we-
me just liked anything that was like superheroes, sci-fi, or like stress. It had robots in it. I was like, yes. It
Okay.
had tragedy and then superpowers. I was like, yes.
Yes, you did say that. You did say that you loved that he was blind and then he became super.
I was like, that's super cool.
You
There's
did
so
enjoy
much wrong
that.
with me and I could be powerful. What?
I will give you that. I did enjoy that the core reason why you liked Daredevil was because of who Daredevil is, which I
Yes.
thought was cute.
Yes.
So
Little
I'll give you
me
points
was
for
like,
that.
there are many medical ailments that I have. Are you telling me right now that I could be a superhero?
Yeah.
Disabilities and all? I was for it.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, kids.
And
you
I didn't
can.
know there were other kinds. So
Yeah.
all I knew was the one with Ben Affleck. So I liked it.
That's totally normal. It's totally fine. Yeah, I would say Phantoms, the book, was really foundational when I was listening, when I was reading when I was younger. It also follows 2 sisters, and you have the older sister who like comes and takes care of the younger sister who was acting out in school, and there's
Yeah.
a significant age difference because one
Mhm.
is a doctor, the other one was in high school.
Yeah.
And that was me and my sister. Like, I
Mhm.
definitely, when I was reading, was like, this is going to be me because I'm going to become a doctor and then I'm going to take care of my sister. It's going to be great. So, Dean, thanks. You wrote about me. You didn't know.
So we're not doctors.
Because you were not.
But we
that
do
was
do
an
cool stuff.
aspiration at the time.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a baby doctor.
Oh.
Yeah, an obstetrician.
Interesting.
I could deliver robot babies. For
You could do
Proteus.
it.
Proteus.
Proteus, if you're listening.
Proteus, listen.
Gabe wants a job.
I,
She has no training.
I have zero training, but listen, this
The
is
passion is
unprecedented. There has never been heretofore a robot human baby hybrid.
I am ready
I am the
to
one
deliver.
who can do it. Yeah, I will just say I really, really love Dean Koontz. I enjoyed this time. I think it was different because I had already known that I loved him, so I wasn't like surprised the way I was with King and Shirley. I didn't know anything about Shirley, and then I was like, oh, yo, she dope. With this, I was like, Dean Koontz has always been dad.
Dean has always been dad.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but now I do.
Yes.
It's just because I can't read because my brain don't work.
Well, maybe you can give it a shot and try to read Phantoms.
Okay.
You can have all the time in the world, babe. Next week, we're covering another lady.
Yeah.
And then we're going to end out with a cool guy. And then we're on to the next thing.
So
So if you're
As we do.
enjoying it, make sure that you give us a like on iTunes and give us a little comment. For some reason, it matters, and we would really appreciate it. We love it.
Gabe's birthday is November 4th. For her birthday.
Do you want to tell them my social security number?
For her birthday, you need to gift us, or her specifically, with a comment on iTunes.
Yeah, say happy birthday. I don't know
Even
how
if
that counts.
the rating is happy birthday 5 stars.
Yes, perfect.
It's not even a rating. It just says happy birthday 5 stars.
I would love one that just says, you could deliver my babies. I would feel so motivated. Make your username Proteus. Love it.
Oh my
It
god.
would make my day.
It's dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're around that, definitely give us a like and listen. Because we're trying to make it out here.
Gabe, what if
2
we had
years,
shirts?
man.
What if we had shirts?
Yeah.
That was the family portrait, and it had the frame that says "coolest
Number one, dad, the best
awesome," and then people bought them.
Yeah, that would. Listen.
Really want this to happen.
Listener, honestly,
Like,
if you are interested,
don't
please email the Ghouls at
Please.
theGhoulsNextDoor
I
at
want it
gmail.com.
so much.
And we will send you pictures of us that you can then Photoshop into a picture with our dad, Dean Koontz, and his dogs. And we will be finally the
Let
happiest
Greta
family
be in
we have.
there too.
She could be there. We have a whole family now. And it's love. And it's wonderful. And it's beautiful. If Proteus wants to hop in there, he could be our stepdad. It's perfect. I can't imagine a better world. If you want to put Ben Affleck in there, hanging out with Kat.
Shut up.
That's also
Ben
perfect.
Affleck as Daredevil.
As Daredevil. Also
Just
in the
like in a thought
background.
bubble above my head with
Yeah.
like, that's a really great concept.
Just like with a heart.
Disabilities and superpowers.
Yeah, nothing
For
about us
it.
without us. Just that kind of stuff. Yeah. And
I
then if
really
you
like the idea, not specifically Ben Affleck though.
that's
child
too
me.
much. That's
child
too
me.
much
Just
to write.
specifying.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Why?
good. Yeah, just put me in one of his books because I'm like, I love your writing, Dad. Thanks. Or you know what? Just make me look really scared because of trypophobia. Just have like cracks on the sidewalk, and I'm like, ooh.
How do you draw all these things? We don't know. That's why we need you.
Yes. So
I am an artist, so I don't know why I can't do it. But you know,
no,
you
it's
guys
more
do.
important if you guys do it, and it's got to be a Photoshop, not drawn.
Wow.
Yeah.
It means more.
Yeah, because it's an outside person.
That's real. I'm just saying my feelings.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, email us, ghoulsnextdoor@gmail.com. We would really, really, really love a personalized Photoshop picture of us with our dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kat,
Don't get married.
delete your kids.
Dope.
Yeah. Or your kid will grow up to be a full-size Tim.
Or robot baby.
Or robot baby. Robot baby survives
Full size Tim.
all. What? Did you say full-size tomb? Full-size Tim. Okay. All right, I got you. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Tim.